Welcome to this special video for Halloween.
Don't look into the mirror.
John, do you want a drink?
No thanks, I'll have me coffee later. Just going to get a shave. I'll have me coffee now, I think. If you'd like to see how I did this video, stick around and I'll show you how it's done. Also, there'll be a quiz question at the end of this video regarding Halloween. See if you can answer it.
Download and try Wondershare Filmora 11 for free. Click the link in the description. Once Filmora starts, we first need to create a new project by clicking here. What I like to do now is go to File, Project Settings, make sure I'm using the right aspect ratio, 16:9, which I am. The resolution for my tutorial is going to be 1920 by 1080 and it's going to be recording in 25 frames per second. Click OK. I then suggest that you go back to File and save your project. Give it any name you want. I'm going to call mine the Haunted Mirror Tutorial and click on Save. You can see the title is now in the top bar. Now we want to import the clips we're going to use in the video. So click on here and choose your clips that you want to import. Okay, I've imported my 4 clips. The main video, a green screen shot I did, a vampire's face, and a recording of my wife asking me if I want a drink. First thing we need to do is drag the main video onto the timeline. I want to scale this clip up because you can see the ring light and the top of my microphone in the shot and I don't want that, so what I'll do is I'll scale that upwards by double clicking on the footage, making sure you're on the video tab and going to transform and changing the scale to 143%. Then click OK. What I want to do now is take a snapshot or a screenshot of this because I'll be using it as a background a bit later. So click on the snapshot button, click OK, and you will see that's added it to your media for you. I want to place the snapshot underneath track 1, so I first need to left click, drag and hold track 1 and move it up to the next track. I now need to drag this footage underneath and make it the same size by dragging the handle as the footage above. I'll now scrub through the footage by dragging the playhead along and getting to the bits that I want to use in the video. So I'll make a cut about there. I'll scrub along to about there, make a cut there. I don't need this bit of footage now, so click on it and press delete on your keyboard. You can now click on the empty space before the clip, click on delete, and that'll move your footage across as well. So I've got my first bit of footage I want. I'll go to the next bit of footage that I want, which is where I start speaking to myself. So about there. Again, I'll make another cut. I'll delete that section I don't need. I'll also delete the space. And I'll move across again until I come to the end of the bit of footage, which is about there. Again, click on the clip, make a cut and delete that last part of the footage that is no longer required. I can now also shrink this down by grabbing the handle and making it the same length. I also want to take another snapshot or screenshot of this because I'm going to use it at the end of the footage and fade it out. So click on snapshot. Click OK. That puts it into your media. I'll drag that to the end. I'll just shorten it down a touch. And now I'll make this whole timeline fit the width of the window by clicking on this icon here. And now I can see all the footage a bit better. To make this last bit fade out, I double click. I click on animation, choose fade out and drag it over the clip. That's where the fade out will start and that's where the fade out will end. So we obviously want that at the end of the clip. Let's just run that, give it a try. Probably a bit too long. So I'll start the fade about there. I'll end the fade about there. And move the clip in. Let's try that. Yeah, that's better. I now need to go back to where I first turned away, about there. Chop the clip there. Carry on till I turn back. About there. Chop the clip again. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to double click on that clip and choose the mask option at the top. And what a mask does is it lets you see through that actual clip to the clip behind. This is why I needed this screenshot at the bottom here. So if I choose single line, you'll see what happens. The single line mask actually creates a line right down the center. What I'm going to do is you can move this about by either adjusting the positions here, or you can simply click in the middle and drag. And I basically just want to hide me, so I'm going to move the mask about a bit until I'm happy with it. I'll scrub through the clip, make sure you can't see, I don't lose anything. No, you can still see all of my hat, you can still see all of my body, so that's fine. I now want to add a new track above track 1 and below track 2, so I can place in my green screen footage. And to do that, right click on any of the tracks, go to Open Track Manager, and I want to add one video track above track 1, so click OK. That's now created a new track, and you can make these taller by dragging the track up and down so you can see more of the clip or less. Then click OK when you're done. And now I want to put in my green screen footage, so I click and drag underneath where the mask is going to be, and you can see it's popped up there. I'm first going to hide the top track so I can see all of my green screen footage, and I'm going to scroll through until I find a piece of footage that I want. I know it's near the end, I know it's around here somewhere, so that looks about right there. So again, if I click on the clip, click on cut, and then I can delete that section. I can now move this section by clicking and holding and place it approximately underneath where I want it to be. Now we can't see it because the playhead isn't there. Just click on the timeline anywhere and you'll see the playhead. I want to get rid of these edges because I was in a small room at the time, so I need to click on Effects, and if you search for Crop and then click and drag that onto your footage, double click your footage and go to the Effect tab, you now see that you can move left and right in so you can just see the green screen. And also drag down from the top. That looks great. What I want to do now is obviously get rid of that green, and the way we do that is make sure we're still on the same clip. Go to basic, click on chroma key, and you'll see it's automatically took out most of the green, and you can adjust what's left by clicking the offset and dragging it up until there's none left. Let me just scroll through that and see what that looks like. Yeah, that's fine. That's great. I'm happy with that. Okay, so let's unhide the top track so that I can move myself and the mask into position. As you can see at the moment, it's not lining up at all. So what I'll do is I will hide the mask by double clicking the clip, then choose mask and click none. I shall make this semi-transparent by going to basic and compositing and lower the opacity so I can see the track underneath, like so. And then I shall move the bottom track by double clicking on it and moving the position left and right to more or less match up with each other. And as you can see, I also need to flip it from side to side. So again, double click on it and flip it so it matches the side I'm looking at. I now need to move it down by doing a Y scale, and that looks about right. So now I'll go back to the top track, change the opacity back to 100%, and do the mask again of the single line. I need to rotate it and move it across and double check that that works. That looks fine. As you can see, the colour is way out on the green screen one, so I'm just going to adjust the green screen length of the clip and also the colour. Double click, click on colour, then tone, and I think I need to drop the brightness down maybe and take the contrast down as well. Maybe a bit of the saturation. That looks a bit better. It's nearer. Still way too light, as you can see there. I'll play around with the tone settings to see if I can get it near enough right. That's down to me not choosing the right lighting at the time, unfortunately, but that's the beauty about Filmora. You can do all sorts of colour changing, saturation, contrast, brightness, white balance, enhancements, anything basically to get it as, you know, as near as possible. Again, it still doesn't look quite right, so might need to change the white balance. Take the temperature down a bit maybe, so it don't look quite as bright. Again, still not quite right. So I'll play around with the settings and then I'll get it right. Or close to it anyway. Okay, it's not perfect, nowhere near perfect, but what we're going to do to help with that is add a glitch effect. What we need to do first is go to media, then sample media and choose black. And just drag that block down onto the same line as the green screen. Move it in front. Do the same behind. And the reason why we do this is so that we can put a transition between the two. So click on transitions, search for glitch blocks, and drag that between the black and your clip, and just shrink the duration down. Doesn't need to be that much. And again, drag it between the green screen clip and the black clip, and shrink the transition down. And what that will do, as we play it,
No thanks, let me copy later.
gives a quick glitch. So now that we've got the glitch effect in place, when you play it,
No thanks, let me copy later. Just gonna get a shave.
you can see that the actual footage itself doesn't have to be perfect. It's still a bit dark, so I'll lighten that up again. Okay, but the glitch effect helps with it not having to be perfectly in sync, but it does help. I'd normally adjust all the settings a bit more, but for the sake of this tutorial I wanted to keep it as easy as possible to show you how to do it. So we'll leave that as it is for now. Always remember to keep saving as you go along as well. Should something happen, at least you'll have a backup. What we need to do now is import the vampire face onto where I start turning there, or just there. Okay, so let's go back to our media, then project media, and we'll drag the vampire face above that clip. Obviously it's too big and too long, so we drag it down to the same length of the clip. I now need to shrink it down to fit onto my face, so I double click, go to image, transform, and I can simply drag the handles down until it approximately fits across my face, like so. Put that in the middle of the clip there approximately. That looks about right. And now we need to use keyframing on that to make it move with my face. So double click on the face layer, go to animation and customize. First thing we need to do is go to the beginning of the clip. We need to add a keyframe and take the opacity way down. We then move to the center of the clip, add another keyframe and take the opacity to maybe not 100%, maybe to about 70%, so it still blends. Then go to the end of the clip, add a keyframe and drop the opacity down again. That'll give us the basic fade in and fade out, but it's still not moving with my face, as you can see. So to do that, we need to do it frame by frame. So once it starts fading in, which is about there, we simply need to add a keyframe and move the vampire face further to the left so that it matches up with mine, and drop the opacity down again so you can't see it. Again, move it a touch more. Now move it slightly to the right so it matches up with my eyes and nose approximately. It then goes to the center. We then need to move out a little bit. Keep moving the position up and down and left and right until we're in the right place, and that automatically adds a keyframe when you do that, or you can manually add a keyframe and do it yourself. I'll make the opacity on this one about 45. Maybe one more keyframe will do it in the middle there. Actually that doesn't look too bad at the moment, but I will do that. I'll add another keyframe. I'll just move it down slightly. Sorry, up slightly to where my eyes are. And just change the opacity to a little bit less. Okay, let's see how that looks as we scroll through.
No thanks, let me copy later. Just gonna get a shave.
That's not too bad. It was out of touch there, so we can go back to that keyframe and reposition it. Move it across left and move it down so it matches up with our face. Scrub again, see what it looks like. Yep, that's not too bad.
No thanks, I'll have me coffee later. Just going to get a shave.
So that gives you an idea of how I created the face. I used more keyframes on my original footage for a smoother transition to the vampire face, but this is just to show you how the process works using keyframes. So now we need to move to the part of the video where I turn and start talking to camera. What I need now is another piece from the original video where I'm looking around trying to figure out who's talking or who I'm talking to. Okay, and the way we do this is we go back to our original video, click on it to play it, and we know it's near the end. So there. What I can do, if you click on this little mark in symbol, play the footage, pause there, just take that in slightly because we don't need that last little bit there. That will do. Click on this symbol for a mark out position. Now when I drag that onto the timeline, it'll only import that bit of footage that I've marked in and out. So click, hold and drag. I'll match it up with there. Yeah, that's fine. And I'll make it the same length as this clip, because we want that bit to fade out at the end. This is obviously the wrong size now, as you can see by previous footage, and if I remember correctly, it was 143%. If you're unsure, double click on one of the clips, go to transform, and yes, 143%. So we need to make this clip the same size. Double click, change that to 143%. Then click OK. But obviously we now need to see part of the footage underneath where I'm talking to the camera, and the way we do that again is we use a mask. So double click on the top layer, go to mask. This time we'll use a rectangle because I want to see that part of the screen. Click on rectangle, and we don't want to see the outsides, we want to see the inside of the rectangle, so we need to invert the mask. And by doing that, you can see me now talking to the camera. I need to change the size of this because obviously you can see me hat and stuff like that. So we just drag that in, drag that down. Let's just scrub through there. Oh, my hat goes missing there. So it needs to be less again. So again, I can change the width by using the sliders here, or by dragging the bar on the preview window. I'll just cut a bit of this footage away as there's too much. So I'll trim that off. I'll press delete on there and move that down to match it up. Okay, and I'm going to use a glitch effect again. So what I need to do is go back to transitions, find the glitch blocks and drag it to the clip on the second track. Yep, that looks good. Okay, the last few things to do is to add all the audio. First thing I'll do is I have a recording of my wife
John, do you want a drink?
asking me if I want a drink. So I'll add that into the timeline just at the very beginning. See how that works?
John, do you want
No thanks, I'll have me coffee later. Just going to...
So it's not the right place, so I need to chop a bit of the front of it off, move it down and give that a go again, see if that fits in better.
John, do you want a drink?
No thanks, I'll have me coffee later. Just going to get a shave.
Yeah, that works better. I also need to add in the glitch sound effects. Now if you go to audio and search for glitch sound effect 0.05. There's a nice sound effect for a glitch there. Just drag that onto the timeline, approximately where the glitch is. Let's see what that sounds like.
No thanks. Let me copy.
Yep, that will work okay. Let's go across to the next part where there's a glitch, and again drag the same sound bite or sound effect underneath it. And there's one more glitch here, so we'll do the same again. Drag that to underneath where the glitch effect is. So let's just give them a quick go.
No thanks. Let me coffee later. Just going to get a shave. Let me coffee now, I think.
Yep, they work fine. We now need the backing track. And again, click OK. Again, if you go to audio, which we're already in, and search for Hacker Music Audio. That'll be the one. Drag that down to another timeline, audio timeline, and we'll start it round about there. We want it to start when my wife starts talking, really, or just after. So let's see what that sounds like.
John, do you want a drink?
No thanks. Let me
Yep,
coffee
that
later.
works well.
Just going to get a shave. Let me coffee now, I think.
Now I want the music to finish just before I start talking. So I want to cut that audio, delete the back part of the audio, don't require that, and I will fade this music out. And you do that simply by clicking on the little white tab there and dragging it across to wherever you want to. Let's try there.
Coffee now, I think. If you'd like to see how it...
Yeah, that sounds good. And that's it, all done. I hope you managed to stay to the end of this tutorial, and if you did, thank you very much. It's now time for your
Halloween.
question. According to superstition, a person born on Halloween has what particular ability? Please leave your answer in the comments below. If you'd like to see dedicated tutorials on any of the effects, masking, keyframing or anything else that Filmora can do, please let me know.
I hope you enjoyed my video, and I would really appreciate it if you click on like, subscribe and the notification bell. It will help grow my channel. Thanks for watching. Now go have some fun.